Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with chapter number 3, that is machine level representation of programs. In the yesterday's class we have finished three topics, that is ALU, that is CPU, and that is processing of the instructions, that is control instructions, registers. So let's take a quick recap of the previous class, that is yesterday's class. So let's take quick review. And this is the today's class session. So sorry. In yesterday's class, we talked about the topic data format. That is how we can format the data. What are the tools available to format the data? These are the multiple data types available while declaring the variable. These are the some declaration for C variables like char, short, int, long int, long int, char, float, double, long double. These are the Intel data type, like char is represented by byte, short is represented by word, int is represented by double word, long int is represented by double word. In the same way, there is some assembly code suffix, that is B, W, L, L. There is also a size in bytes, that is 1, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 8. These are the multiple data types that are used in IA32 or in assembly language for representation of programs. This is due to its origin as a 16-bit architecture that expanded into a 32-bit one. Intel uses the term word. There is a term word to refer to a 16-bit data type. These are the multiple 16-bit data types. These are the multiple data types like int takes or double takes, float takes 4 bytes, double takes 8 bytes. In the same way, extended takes 10 bytes. Then we have talked about how we can access the information in the CPU or with the help of CPU. CPU is central processing unit that is used for making the execution, or that is used for executing the programs. So this is says an IA32 CPU contains a set of 8 registers, each storing 32 bits value. So it contains 8 registers that are used for storing the values, and that have a value and that are of 32 bits only. So these are the multiple 32 bits values that are divided into two parts, that is 16, 16, and 16 is also divided into two parts, that is 8, 8. This is with the original 8086, the registers were 16 bits and each had a specific purpose. The names were chosen to reflect these different purposes. For most part, the first 6 registers can be considered as general purpose registers. These are the multiple registers like EAX, ECX, EDX, EBX, ESI, EDI. Then we talked about some operands. Operands are the variables on which operation is performed. Suppose I have to perform the operation plus minus, that is 2 plus 3 minus 4. So the operands are 2, 3, 4, and the operations are plus and minus. So this says most instructions have one or more operands specifying the source values to reference in performing an operation and the destination location into which to place the result. So operands are used for performing the operations as well as to store the results. IA32 supports a number of operand forms. These are the multiple operands, like immediate is represented by IMM, this is a operand. Register is R, memory is M, memory M. These are the multiple memories. These are the operand forms. These are the multiple examples. Then we have also talked about how we can move the instructions, or how we can move from one register to another register. This is move SD, means move the value of S to the D. This is move byte, move word, move B means move byte, move W means move word, move L means move double word. The description is this is move, this is SD, that is D, a sign extended value is going to the D. Then we have also talked about some data movement instructions. There are multiple instructions. We talked about the data movement instructions. For example, move class consists of 3 instructions: move B, move W, and move N. These are the multiple instructions or registers. It is immediate, register 4 bytes, a register to register. So this means this value is going to this register value is whole going to this value. Means in this we are moving from register to register. In this we are moving from memory to register. These are the multiple examples. We have also talked about that data movement example. These are the example how we can move. These are the C examples. This is the C code. This is the code for exchange. Means exchanging the value of xp and y. This is int x equals to xp. Means xp value is transferring to x. Now y value is transferring to sp. Now xp has a value y. So now the value is reversed. xp returns becomes y and y becomes xp. Then we have talked about arithmetic and logical operations, that is ALU, how we can perform the operations with the help of ALU. There are multiple operations that is performed under the ALU. So first one is your load effective address. That is how we can access the load effective address with the help of CPU. So this says figure 7 lists some of the integer and logical operations. As I told you in the first class, the ALU is responsible for performing all the arithmetic operations like plus, minus, divide, multiply, as well as the logical operations, plus that is less than, greater than, equals to, less than, equals to. So that are used for performing the arithmetic and logical operations. And that operations are divided into 4 groups, that is load effective address, unary, binary, and shifts. Binary operations have 2 operands, while unary operations have only 1 operand. As the name advises, binary operations means operation is performed on 2 operands and unary operation is performed on only 1 operand. First one is your load effective address instruction, that is LEAL, is actually a variant of ML instruction. Variant means it is an extension of MOVEL instruction. These are the multiple instructions, that is LEAL, SD, increment, decrement, negation, note. These are the multiple operations. We can increase the value, increment the value, decrement the value, that is D stands for D minus 1. Increment means D stands for D plus 1. Then there is a negation, D stands for minus D. There is a note, means inverting the bits, 0 become 1 and 1 become 0. That is your complement. Then there is also add, subtract, that is D stands for D plus S. Subtract, that is D stands for D minus S. Multiply, XOR, or AND. Then there is a shift operation, that is a left shift. Then there is a shift operation, there is a logical shift as well as the arithmetic shift. We also talked about the right shift. There are 2 types of right shift: arithmetic, logical right shift, and arithmetic right shift and logical right shift. Then we have also talked about the unary and binary operations. Means what are the unary operations that is available? So operations which are performing on only single operand is known as unary operation, and which are performed on 2 operands, that is known as binary operations. Then these are the multiple binary operations and unary operations. Then we also talked about the shift operations. There are 2 types of shift operations: left shift and right shift. This is the left shift operation, this is the right shift operation. These are the multiple examples. Then we have also talked about some special arithmetic operations. These are the special arithmetic operations like CLTD, I divide L, multiply L, multiply L. So that's all for yesterday's session. Now I'm going to continue with your topic, that is control. So till now we have covered multiple topics in chapter number 3, and this is the sixth topic or the sixth part of your chapter number 3, that is machine level representation of programs. Control. Now let's start with control. Control means controlling the operations of the computer. Operations of a computer means any task that a CPU performs is the operation of a computer. So controlling the operations of a computer so that computer will work according to the user requirement. Suppose a user is performing a task. So control means according to the user's requirement, according to the user input, the task will automatically jump or task will automatically rotate, task will automatically shut down. Means we can move, we can rotate, we can shut down the task according to the user's requirement. That is your control. So this paragraph says, so far we have only considered the behavior of a state line code. State line code means there is a state line coding, there is no controlling part. User cannot control the part of the CPU. There is only a straight line coding where instructions follow one another in sequence. Means where one instruction is followed, then next instruction, then next instruction, and then next instruction. That is your straight line coding. Some constructs in C, such as conditional, loops, and switches, require conditional execution, where the sequence of operations that get performed depend on the outcome of test applied to the data. Machine code provides two basic low-level mechanisms for implementing conditional behavior. First of all, it tests the data values, and then it decides whether we can alter the control flow or the data flow based on the result of the test. So this paragraph says till now we have covered only state line coding, means one instruction after another instruction. But now it's a time to move to the conditional statement, conditional expression, so that based on the condition we can test the output. We can test the output and apply to the data. Normally, both statement in C and instructions in machine code are executed sequentially, means one after the another, in the order they appear in the program. But the execution order of a set of instructions can be altered. Means there is also a provision to alter the instructions of the C language with the jump statement, indicating that control should pass to some other form of program. Suppose my requirement is that if I'm writing the program, I'm using the program, then after the second line, my control moves directly to the ninth line. After second, moves directly to the ninth line. So this direct conversion, this direct jumping is provided by the controlling that is done using the jump statement. Right. So this is not a sequence statement, this is a jump statement that jump from second line to the seventh line or ninth line. So now let's talk about some condition codes. What are the condition codes available so that we can move or we can operate the operands or we can perform arithmetic and logical operations. So let's see first of all what is a control register. First of all, a control register is a processor register, means it is a CPU register that stores the data which changes or controls the general behavior of a CPU. As I told you, now it's a time to change the or alter the values of the CPU. So that is stored in the control register. So control register is a processor register which changes or controls the general behavior of a CPU, that is central processing unit or other digital device. Common tasks performed by control register includes interrupt control. That is, interrupt control means whenever there is an interrupt means whenever there is some disturbances, there is a controlling part. That controlling part is controlled by interrupt control, and this is the task of the control register. Another task is switching the addressing mode. There are multiple addressing modes. So switching from one addressing mode to another addressing mode is also done by control register. That there is a paging control, means move from one page to the another, or store the data in one page or another page. This is also done by the paging control. And there is a coprocessor control, means the CPU controlling. CPU controlling is done by the CU. So CU controlling is also provided by control register. So these are the multiple behavior, multiple tasks that is performed by the control register. Next is your condition codes. So next topic is your condition codes. So these are the multiple condition codes. This says in addition to the integer registers means whatever we have covered in the yesterday's class, integer registers, the CPU maintains a set of single bit condition code registers also that describe attributes of the most recent arithmetic or logical operations. These registers can be tested to perform conditional branches. The most important are CF, that is carry flag. This is used to carry out the most significant bit, used to detect overflow. As I told you, if I add two unsigned number or two signed number, there is an overflow bit that can be discarded. That is also provided by the carry flag, that is your CF. Then there is a zero flag, the most recent operation yielded 0. Sign flag, and there is a overflow flag. These are the condition codes. First of all, this is CMP, that is compare S2 and S1 based on S1 hyphen S2 compare. This is CMPB, that is compare the byte. CMPW, compare the word. CMPL, compare the double word. This is test. Now test the S1 and S2, that is S1 and S2 test. This is test B, that is test byte, test W, test word, test L, test double word. These are the multiple instructions of the control statement, that is CMP and test. This is known as comparison and test instructions. This says the IA32 processors handle one of the 16 conditions. So how many conditions IA32 handles? Only 16 conditions by combining several conditional flags like CF, OF, which I told you, as discussed earlier. They also provide instructions that returns the result of these conditions. Means they also provide the instruction that returns the result of these condition evaluation in one of the register or memory. The syntax is as follows. This is the syntax of the condition, that is set CC. This is a condition. This is your destination. This is set CC destination. The CC in instructions mnemonic indicates the condition. As I told you, this is the condition. That is, this is the mnemonic that indicates the condition. The DEST field can be one of the 8-bit register or 8-bit memory location. Means the destination can be of 8-bit register or can be of 8-bit memory location. After the execution, if condition flag indicates that the specified condition was true, destination is set to 1. Otherwise, it is set to 0. So, if the condition is true, then set the destination value is to 1, otherwise set the destination value to 0. The following are 30 different possibilities for set CC instructions. Some of them means the same thing, as they can be seen by the condition on the flag in the third column. So next table shows different conditions. Based on this, either the destination value have a 1 or the destination value is set to 0. These are the multiple instructions and multiple conditions. Now, first of all, Set E, that is equal, this is equal, ZF, that is your flag, that is your value 1. As I told you, this is a zero flag, carry flag, sign flag, overflow flag. Now this is used in this table. This is your set E, that is equal, set the zero flag to 1. Set Z, that is 0, that is set the zero flag to 1. Then set an E not equal, set the zero flag to 0, not 0, set the zero flag to 0. Means whenever the condition is true, then set the flag to 1. Whenever the condition is false, then set the flag to 0. Then set A, that is above, set the carry flag to 0 and zero flag to 0 because conditions are false. In the same way, there are multiple conditions, there are multiple flags that is used in assembly language program. Set G means set greater, this is greater, put the zero flag to 0 and put the SF2 equals to 0F, that is your OF, overflow flag. Then set no overflow, set S sign, set NS no sign, that parity even, no parity odd. So these are the multiple flags, these are the multiple conditions that is set. Based on the condition, we can set the flag to either 0 or 1. Now these are the multiple flags, as I told you, carry flag, zero flag, sign flag and overflow flag. Now next is your conditional instructions. Next topic is accessing the condition codes. There are 3 ways for accessing the condition code. We can set a single byte to 0 or 1 depending on the condition. We can conditionally jump to some other part. We can conditionally transfer the data. So these are the multiple methods for accessing the condition codes. This is the example. Now let's discuss some conditional as well as the unconditional jumping. First of all, this is conditional execution in assembly language. Is accomplished by several looping and branching instructions. So there are 2 types of instruction, that is the conditional as well as unconditional execution. So conditional execution is accomplished by using the looping and branching instructions. These instructions can change the flow of a control in a program. Conditional execution means conditional execution is performed by using 2 scenarios or by using 2 operations, that is your unconditional jump as well as your conditional jump. So first of all, let's talk about conditional jump. Means on the basis of conditional jump, the cursor will move from one location to another location, and in an unconditional jump, the cursor will move from one part to the another part. So first of all, unconditional jump, this is performed by JMP instruction. There is the instruction known as JMP. Conditional execution often involves a transfer of control to the address of an instruction that does not follow the currently executing instruction. So this said, conditional execution often involves or automatically or generally involves a transfer of control to the address of an instruction that does not follow the currently executing instruction. Transfer of control may be forward to execute a new set of instruction or backward to re-execute the same steps. Means there is a sequence or there is a step-by-step sequence. We can perform the sequence, we can control the sequence, we can execute the sequence from one part to the another part. We can also go backward to re-execute the same steps. Then another part is your conditional jump. This is your unconditional jump. Next is your conditional jump. This is performed by a set of jump instructions, J condition. Depending on the condition, the conditional instructions transfer the control by breaking the sequential flow, and they do it by changing the offset value in IP. There is an IP address. This can be done by changing the offset value, that is changed to either 0 or 1 using the IP address. Now let's discuss the CMP instruction before going to the conditional instruction. This is your CMP instruction. This compares two operands. Means CMP is used for compare, that compares two operands. It is generally used in conditional execution. This instruction basically subtracts one operand from the other for comparing whether the operands are equal or not. So first of all, this is a compare statement that compares two operands, and that comparison is done by subtracting the one operand from the another operand. This says it does not disturb the destination or the source operand. It is used along with the conditional jump instruction for decision making. So it is used for along with the conditional jump for the decision making. So this is a CMP instruction that is used for comparing the operands by subtracting the values of the operands. The syntax is CMP destination source. So first of all, there is a destination, then there is a source. We can compare between source and destination. This says CMP compares two numeric data fields. The destination operand could be either in register or in memory. The source operand could be a constant, that is your immediate data, register or memory. Now this is an example. CMP DX00. This is your destination, that is DX. This is your 00. This says compare the DX value with 0. Then JEL7. If yes, jump to the label 7. This is your JE, jump to label 7. CMP is also used for comparing whether a counter value has reached the number of times a loop needs to be run. As I told you, there is a count function or the count variable that is used for counting the loop times, that is 0, 1, 2. So CMP is also used for comparing whether a counter means whenever we use the count, whether a counter value has reached the number of times a loop needs to be run. This is also explained by the example. So first of all, increment, that is INC EDX. Then compare. EDX means a counter that is used, that is incremented automatically. Now compare EDX to 10. Compare whether the counter has reached 10 or not. This is a counter EDX, as I told you. So this compare whether the counter will be reached to 10 or no. Then GLE LP1. If it is less than or equal to 10, then jump to LP1. So if it is reached or if it less than or equal to 10, not beyond the 10, then jump to the LP1. This is jump and this is your LP1, that is label 1. This is done by the CMP instruction. Now, next is your unconditional jump. Till now we have covered conditional jump. This is an example for conditional jump. Now, next is your unconditional jump. As mentioned earlier, this is performed by the JMP instruction. So now see the difference. Conditional jump is performed by the CMP instruction. Unconditional jump is performed by the JMP instruction. This says conditional execution often involves a transfer of control to the address of an instruction that does not follow the currently executing instruction. So conditional execution means on the basis of condition we can execute the instruction, we can execute the data, or we can execute the statement. Transfer of control may be forward to execute a new set of instructions or backward to re-execute the same steps. This is a syntax. The syntax is the JMP instruction provides a label name whether the flow of control is transferred immediately or no. So this is the JMP instruction that provides a label name to identify, to make sure that whether the flow of control is transferred immediately or no. The syntax is JMP, that is jump label 1. So this is the example. Next paragraph, next figure shows the example. First of all, move AX to 0, 0. That is initializing the value of AX to 0. Then move BX to 0. Then move CX to 1. So these are the first initialization method. These are done by the move instruction or move operation. Then there is a L20. L20 means a label 20. Then you add AX to 1, means increment the AX value to 1. Now add BX to AX, means adding the values of AX to BX, means adding the values of AX and BX. Then shift left of CX to 1. Then jump the value, that is repeat the statements, that is L20, means repeat the statement 20 times. So this is the example of JMP, that is your jump instructions. Next is your conditional jump. This is if some specified condition is satisfied in conditional jump, the control flow is transferred to a target instruction. There are numerous conditional jump statements depending on the condition and data. Following are the multiple conditional statements or conditional jump statements. First one is your JEJZ, that is jump equal jump 0. Flag tested are JF or ZF. Then there another one is JNE, JNZ, that is jump not equal, jump not 0. Then jump greater, jump not less than or equals to, jump greater, jump not less than. So these are the multiple instructions and their description as well as the flag tested for these instructions. Next is your JEJZ, that is used for logical operations. Next is your values that tested the values for JMP operations. Then JC jump if carry, JMP or JNC jump if no carry. So these are how we can access the multiple conditional operations. So now this topic is finished, accessing the multiple conditions. Now next is your jump instructions and their encoding. This says under normal execution, instructions follow each other in the order they are listed. A jump instruction can cause the execution to switch to a completely new position in the program. So a jump statement can be used or can make the execution to switch to or to jump to a completely new position in the program. These jump destinations are generally indicated in, these are the multiple figures of jump statement. So jump statements are multiple indicated in this diagram. That is your jump, JMP label, that is your direct jump, that jump operand, that is your indirect jump, JE label, JNE label, JS label, JNS label. That is your equal, zero, not equal, negative, non-negative. These are the multiple jumping that depends on the conditional as well as the unconditional jumping. This is the example. That is move L, move double word, $0 EX. Set EAX, that is your register to 0. Then go to line 1, that is L1. Then move 1, that is null pointer difference. This is another example. First of all, GLE L2, go to destination 2, L5, that is destination 1, move 1, SAR1, subtract 1, LEL, test 1. These are the multiple questions which we have to attempt. These are the multiple objective based questions. Now next is translating conditional branches. As I told you, there is a conditional branches. These are the multiple codes. First one, this is the C code, that is go to, that is assembly code. First of all, take this one, int AFG difference, that is int absolute difference. The function name is ABS difference, that is ABS DIFF. There is a return type, that is your int. So this is your function name, this is your return type. Then these are the arguments, int X, int Y. So take two variables, that is X and Y, and both are of data type int. Then curly brace start, if X is less than Y. Means if X is less than Y, return Y minus X, else return X minus 1. And if X is less than Y, so Y is small, so put Y minus X. If Y is small, put X minus Y. This is the equivalent to the go-to version. So this is int go-to difference, this is absolute, this is go-to. Take two variables, same, int result. If X is greater than equals to 0, go to XGEY, result is Y minus 1, go to done. That is go to done means it is finished. Now use this is XGEY, result is X minus Y, done, return results. So if this condition is true, go to this one, otherwise result is this one, go to done. So now this is the function. Now the explanation of this function is this one. So this is the if this condition is true, that is X is greater than equals to Y, then go to next function, that is X underscore G underscore Y. Otherwise result is Y minus 1, and then go to done. That is your go to this statement. So this is a multiple figure. I will explain you with the help of pen. So this means if this condition is true, go to this one. This is this one. Otherwise, execute this statement. If this is not work, then go to done. Done means go to this part and then return the result. This is how we can use the go to function. This is our assembly code. First of all, move L, 8, EBP, EDX, EBP, EAX, CMP, JGE, sub1, jump. This is your L2 part, that is your label 2. These are the label 2, this is the label 3. These are the multiple explanation. First of all, get the X value, then get the Y value, then compare X to Y. Then if this is greater than or equal to, go to XGEY, then compare equals to Y minus X, and then jump to the JE, that is jump to the or go to the done. So this is compilation of conditional statements. This is a condition. If the general form of if else in C is denoted by the template, as I told you in the last class or last Friday's class, when we talked about the overview of programming, that is if test hyphen expression means if test condition is true, then the first statement will execute it, otherwise next statement will execute it. So this is if test expression. Test expression means test statement is executed, then it's okay, otherwise next instruction will be executed. This says where text expression is an integer expression. As I told you, text expression means the condition. If condition is an integer expression that evaluates either to 0, that is false, or to a non-zero, that is true, only one of the two branches, that is then statement or else statement, will execute it. This paragraph will explain if the condition is true, then the first statement will execute it, and if the condition is false, then the next statement will execute it. This is the assembly form. First of all, that is a C syntax. This is the assembly syntax. This is T equals to text expression. If not T means text expression, that the statement or the condition is not true, go to the false, then statement, go to done, then now the false explanation, that is false, is else statement. So this is the same scenario which I told you. If this is not true, go to the false part. So this is go to the false part, then execute the statement, go to done, now go to done. This is how we can execute. This is the compiler generates separate block of code for then statement and else statement. In first scenario, we discussed the same syntax or the same example for if or the same statement as well as the else statement, then statement. Now it is a time for else statement, that is different part. Now next topic is your loops. This is very important topic, but before this, let's take 5 to 10 minutes break and then come back, then discuss the topic number 5 or 6.5, that is your looping. And looping are the same which I told you in the last Friday's class in overview of programming, the same concept, but this is an important topic. So this topic will I will take after 5 to 10 minutes, that is after the break. So let's take 5 to 10 minutes break. Now let's start with another topic, that is loops. As I told you, C provides different types of loops like do while and for. As I discussed in the last Friday's class, some overview of programming concepts. So in that, I discussed with you what are the loops available in C language. So these C language loops are do while and for. No corresponding instructions exist in machine code. So this says C provides such loops, but there is no corresponding instruction for machine codes for these kinds of loops. Instead, combinations of conditional statement and jumps are used to implement the effect of loops. Most compilers generate loop code based on the do-while form of a loop, even though this form is relatively uncommon in actual program. This says C provides these kinds of loops, but in machine language codes, these loops are converted or used as a jump statement as well as a conditional test. Now let's talk about or let's study about the translation of a program, translation of a loop starting with the do while, and then C is working with the conditional test and jumps. So first of all, do while loop. This is the do while loop. The general form means the syntax of a loop is this one. As I told you, do while is a exit control loop. Why it is known as exit control loop? Because it checks the condition at the exit of the program. Whenever it exits, whenever we exit from the program, we exit from the code, then it tests the condition. That is while is only considered at the end of the program. That is while test expression. So this is a general form of a do while or general syntax of a do while statement. First of all do, then there is a body statement, there is a while, then there is a condition. So do body statement means execute the statement, and then there is a while condition, that is your test condition. Suppose I want that print the values from 0 to 10 or 1 to 10. So take do printf values from 0 to 10, and the condition is that if the x is a variable, if x is greater than 0 or greater than equals to 0, then print the value. So do while will execute at least one time because the condition is checked at the end of the program. Before that there is one statement, so it will be executed at least once. So this is the main syntax, or the main condition is that it will execute at least one, and it is the exit control loop because the condition is checked at the time of exit of a program. This says the effect of the loop is to repeatedly execute body statement except evaluate text expression. This means this is a condition, and continue the loop if the evaluation result is non-zero. Observe that body statement is executed at least once. As I told you, this statement or this loop will execute the statement at least once. The general form is, or this form can be translated into machine code via conditional and go to statement as follows. This is a loop, body statement, t equals to test expression. So now this topic will tell you the syntax of a loop in C language, and then that will be converted into conditional and go to statements. This is the body statement, t equals to test expression. If t means if the condition is true, then go to the loop. So here the syntax look like this. First of all, check the condition because condition is in text expression. So check the condition. Yeah, if condition is true, then go to the loop part, means go to the this part, that is your loop part. So first of all, this is the condition. If condition is true, go to the loop part, means this go to this loop part. So this is the same version of the do while statement. That is, on each iteration, the program evaluates the body statement and then the text expression. So first of all, body statement will execute. If the text succeeds, we go back for another iteration. Iteration means and next looping or next rounding. As an example, figure 4.8 shows an implementation of a routine to compute the factorial of an argument. This is the example for finding the factorial of an argument. Factorial means if there is a n factorial, that is 5 factorial. So this is 5 into 4 into 2 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Suppose there is a 5 factorial. Suppose there is a 5 factorial. So this is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So that is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. This is your 5 factorial. 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So if there is an n factorial means 5 factorial, so the output is 5 into 4 20, into 3 60, into 2 120. So the output is 120. So now let's take with the help of example how we can do the looping or how we can find the factorial of a program. This is a C code. Int fact means factorial do int n. There is an argument, there is only one variable, that is n, that is of type int. This is int fact do int result equals to 1. So first of all, take one variable, that is result, and put the value 1 to the result. Next, there is a while loop, do while loop, do result into equals to n. Means find out the result and store the value of n to the result. N is your n minus 1. So if the output or the input is 5, so first of all result into n. So means put the values of n, that is 5 into result. Now decrement the 5 is 2 into 4. So this is n equals to n minus 1. So that is decrement the 5 to 4. Now n have a value 4. So this is 4. Now put 4 into the result. Next 4 become 3 because the n minus 1, 4 minus 1 is 3. Now n is 3. Put the 3 into result. Then 2, put the result into 2. Then 1, put the result into 1. Now multiply all these values. So this gives the result, that is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. And the condition is that n is greater than 1. Means n is greater than or equals to the 1. Now return the result. Result have a value 120. Then give the result. And this condition is very important because if it is 0, then the whole output is 0. This is n is greater than equals to 1. This is the C code. In the same way, there is a corresponding assembly code is using for finding the factorial. This is the assembly code program. These are the arguments, that is n at, this is a register EBP plus a, n in EDX result in EAX. These are the arguments, these are the register used for n and result, that is EDX and EAX. So first one is move L 8 percentage EBP percentage EDX. So get the value of n, then move L $1 EAX, set the result to 1. In the same way, first of all get the n from the user, then set the result or put the 1 to the result, or put the value 1 to the result. This is the looping start, that is your L2. This is your multiplication, that is I mul EDX into EAX. So put or get the value of n and then multiply by 1. This is result, compute result into n. So this is the same line. Then decrement, that is subtract EDX to 1. EDX have a value that the user input, that is n. Now decrement the n value. Next compare EDX to 1, that is n is to 1. Then JB or JG. If it is greater, then go to the loop. This is go to the loop, then return the result. So this is the same line by line conversion of C language into the assembly language code. So this is the syntax and the example of do while loop. These are the multiple examples for C language as well as for assembly language. Now next loop is your while loop. First one I have finished, we have finished, that is do while loop. Next is your while loop. The general form or the syntax is while test expression body statement. Means while condition is true, then statement will execute, that is your body statement, otherwise statement will not execute. That is while test expression body statement. This says it differs from do while in that or is that how it is differ. Test expression is evaluated first and the loop is potentially terminated before the first execution of body statement. Means in while loop the statement will execute or the condition will execute or the condition will check at first, but in do while loop condition is checked at end. So do while will execute at least one, but while loop will never execute at least one before, but because before executing the statement or the condition will be checked. If the condition is false, then statement will not execute. So these are the this is the main difference between while and do while. Is that do while is the entry control loop because the condition is checked at once. Sorry, do while is the exit control loop because the condition is checked at end. While loop is a entry control loop because the condition is checked at first. So it differs from do while in the sense that test expression, that is statement, is evaluated and then loop is potentially terminated before the first execution of a body statement. There are a number of ways to translate a while loop into the machine code. That is, there are multiple ways to translate the while loop into the assembly code or the machine code. One common approach is used by the GCC is to transform the code into a do while loop by using a conditional branch to skip the first execution of the body if needed. So this is your if this is the conversion of the while loop. If not equals to test expression means if statement is not true, then go to the done part. Sorry. That is, if the test expression or the statement is not true, directly go to the done part. Means there is no statement, statement is true or condition is false, so there is not statement will executed. So there condition is false. Otherwise, if condition is true, do means perform the following operations. Do body statement while test expression means check the statement. This is the next condition, the next syntax, that is, first of all, put the statement into the T, that is T equals to test expression means put the statement or put the condition into T. If condition is false, that is not T, condition is false, then go to the done, go to the end part. Otherwise, loop is body statement, put the statement to T. If T is true, then go to the loop. Go to the loop and loop will iterate or execute multiple times, depend on the condition, depend on the test expression. So test expression is nothing but the condition. This says upon this implementation strategy, a compiler can often optimize the initial test, for example, determining that the test condition will always hold. This is your C syntax for using while loop, that is int fact, finding the factorial using the while loop. There is one argument, there is one variable, that is int and curly brace start int result equals to 1 means put the value or put the value 1 to the result variable while n is greater than 1 means this statement will execute till n is greater than 1. Result into n, the same way which I told you in the do while loop, result into n means putting the values of n to the result and then at last multiply the values. So first of all, the value of n is, for example, n, so 5 is going to result, then the value is become 4 because n equals to n minus 1. So put the result or put the value 4 to the result. Next put the value 3 to the result. Next put the value 2 to the result. Next put the value 1 to the result and then multiply all the values, that is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is how we can find the factorial and then at last return the result, that is your 120, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. This is the C code, this is the syntax for C code or the coding for C coding. This is the equivalent to the goto version. That is your machine code or the assembly code version. This is int fact using while, go to int n, then curly brace start, int result equals to 1 means put the value 1 to the result. If n is greater than or equals to 1, then go to the done part. If n is greater than or equals to 1 means the condition is true. If the test expression is true, test expression is n is greater than or equals to 1. Then go to the done part. Looping is same result, star into n means multiply into n, put the values of 5 to the result, then subtract the value 1 by 1 means 4. Then next condition will be checked. If n is greater than 1, go to the loop, then done, result, return the result. This is the looping. First of all, this is the loop part, and if the condition is false, direct go to the done part. This is your go-to conversion, and this is your assembly language code. First of all, get the n values. This is move L. So move the values of EDX to the EBP to the EDX. Then set the result to the 1, that is using the register EAX, and put the value to 1. EDX, now compare EDX to the 1, that is n is to the 1. JLE, that is go to the done or go to label 7. Then this is the loop, multiply the values, now decrement the values, and then compare the values of EDX to 1. This is the C code. This is the assembly code. These are the multiple questions which you have to practice. Now, next is your for loop. Till now we have covered do while loop, while loop. Now the next one is your for loop. For loop is similar to while loop and the do while loop, but the main difference is that here the condition as well as the increment decrement will execute it only in one line. So first of all, init expression, that is your condition or that is your increment or decrement. Then there is the test expression, that is checking the condition, and then there is the update expression, means either you can increment or decrement. So this is your initialization part, that is your INIT. Then there is a test expression, means checking the condition, and there is a update expression, that is either increment or decrement. So it is similar to the while and do while loop, but the main difference that condition check as well as increment decrement as well as initialization is performing only in one line, that is init expression, test expression, and update expression. Then if both the conditions or if the condition is true, then the statement of the body or the body statement will execute. The C language standard states with one exception highlighted in problem 24 that the behavior of such loop is identical to the following loop, which creates a while loop. This is similar to the while loop in init expression, that is first of all initializing the values, then while check the condition. If the condition is true, then the statement will execute, and then update the expression, that is either increment or decrement the expressions. Now let's see the explanation of this loop. The problem first evaluate the initialization expression, that is init expression, means either you can initialize the value or means initializing the values of a variable. For example, result equals to 1 means storing the 1 to the result or storing the value 1 to the variable result. Then it enters a loop where it first evaluates the test condition, that is test expression. So first of all, initializing the value, then enters a loop where it first evaluates the test condition, that is test expression, exiting if the test fails, right? Then executes the body of the loop, that is body statement. This is body statement, and finally evaluates the update expression, that is update expression. So first of all, initialize the value, then check the condition. If the condition is true, executes the statement, then if, increment or decrement the values of the expression. For example, n equals to n minus 1, or the condition is n is greater than equals to 1. And the initialization example is result equals to 1. These are the multiple examples. Now, next topic is your conditional move instruction. This is a jump instruction which I told you. What is a jump instruction? It is used to jump from one location or from one register to another register. These are the multiple flags which I told you. Flag is set to 0 when it is true. These are the conditional code flags CF, JF, SF, OF, that is overflow tag. These are the multiple jump expressions which I told you. Now, there is a move instruction. So move instruction is a mnemonic that is used for copying the data from one location to another location. So move location is used for copying the data, for moving the data from one part to another part. The assembly language has a number of different move instructions depending on whether the program is in a 16-bit or 32-bit and whether an override instruction prefix is used. A move instruction may transfer. So this means it is used for copying the data from one register to another register, and it is of either 8 bits or it stores 8-bit data, 16-bit, 32 bits or 64 bits if there is a x84-64 mode. If there is a IA32 assembly, then it can store in either 8 bits, 16 bit or 32 bits. But if it is a x86-64 mode, it can store up to 64 bits value. Data may be copied to and from memory and registers. The word move for this expression is a misnomer, that is a mnemonic. It has a little to do with the physical concept of moving an object from A to B. Next is, in AT&T assembler syntax, the above expression will be accomplished as follows, that is move $y, X means move the values of X to the register Y. So if X register has a value 5, so move all the 5 values to the register Y. The operands for the move command can either be registers, a segment register or a memory address. So it may be register, it may be segment register, it may be memory address, since the command is executed in a single CPU work cycle. There is a question as in, now this is the example, move the contents of register BX into the register AX. So this is move AX BX. So this is your source, this is your destination. So source comes over to the right place and destination comes to the left place. So this will move the register contents of the register BX into the AX. Then next example is move the contents of the register AX into the reference memory block. Now move address AX means move the contents of AX or the register AX into the address bar. Next example is move to memory move, such as means we can move the memory to the memory. This is memory to memory move. Address 1 to address 1 are not possible. To achieve this, the move must be used in sequence. So first of all, move the address part or move the memory part to one register, and that register will move to another memory. So this means memory to memory transfer or memory to memory moving is not possible. It can be done with the help of register. So take one register, make as a mediator and move the first memory content to that register and use that register to move to the another memory. Now let's see in your book. This is the conditional move expression. An alternative strategy is to through a conditional transfer of data. This is how we can done. This is the C code, how we can transfer. This is your conditional assignment. This is your assembly code. These are the multiple move statement examples. These are the examples that we use in IA32 instructions. This is C move, the SR, C move Z, JF equals 0. This is a conditional statement, that is if expression or if the condition is true, then execute this one, else execute this expression. This is your test expression, this is your then, this is your else while expression. These are the multiple codes for condition statement, for move statement or move instruction. These are the multiple examples. Now, next is your switch statement, means how we can switch from one part to the another part. That is performed by the jump statement or the switch statement. This is the syntax for switch, as I told you in the last class. How we can use the switch? First of all, using the switch, and then there is a variable n. Use the values. First of all, there is a case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5 and case 6, and at last there is a default, that is result equals to 0. So this is your switch statement. These are the multiple examples in while loop, do while loop. Now, next topic is your procedures, and this I will take this topic in the next class, that is your Monday's class. So let's see what has left in these slides. I think it is over. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much. Now let's take a quick recap of the today's class. And if you have any doubt, then please text the doubt and I will answer you. So let's take quick review. In today's class, we have started with control registers. That is, what is control register, how we can control. That is, the main topic is control. It's how we can control in C language, assembly language or machine codes. What are the controlling methods? There is a loop. There is a conditional statement. So what are the methods used for controlling the contents of the C language or assembly language? So first of all, we have taken what is control register. Then what are the condition codes? What are the codes available for checking the conditions? These are the multiple codes available. Then we have also talked about some looping. There is a switch loop, there is a while loop, there is a do while loop. And another statement is your switch statement. So we have taken, or we have studied 4 types, that is do while loop, switch statement, and next one is your for statement. So there are 4 loops, and we have also talked about multiple flags like carry flag, zero flag, sign flag, overflow flag. Then we also talked about some conditional execution, that is divided into 2 parts, that is conditional instruction as well as your unconditional instructions. Conditional instruction contains 2 parts, that is your unconditional jumping as well as the conditional jumping. This is your CMP instruction that compares the source to the destination. Then there is unconditional jumping that is used for jumping to the unconditional. These are the multiple conditional jump. Then we have also talked about the jump statement, how we can jump from one location to another location. Then we also talked about the condition code flags. Then we have also talked about the move instruction, means how we can copy the data from one part to the another part, and the main limitation is that we cannot move the data of one memory to the another memory. We can move the data from memory to the register and register to the memory. And we can also move the data from one register to another register, but not from memory to memory. And it can take either 8-bit, 16-bit or 32-bit, and even 64 bits for x82 assembly or x86 assembly language. These are the multiple examples. So that's all for today's session. Now, if you have any doubt, then please text the doubt and I will answer you. And in the tomorrow or in the Monday's class, I will cover, in the next class, I will cover the topic, 7th topic, that is procedures. So that's all for my session or from my side. If you have any doubt, then please text the doubt. So thank you so much, everyone.